Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More. We're back at the laundromat. We're going to see how we did this week, and it has been snowing, so I forgot to do a intro video this week, so you're just seeing last week's intro video. But I promise the rest of the video is new, except for me showing my snacks, and that's about it. So, it was very, very cold this last week. It'll be interesting to see how sales did, although surprisingly, this last weekend, we had a record amount of money in the change machine. And this is this week, checking the change machine again. So on last Friday, I fill it up. Then Monday, I fill it up. And sometimes on Wednesday I do, sometimes I don't. This week I did not. There was a ton of money gone during the week as well. So we had $1,290 in cash in the change machine over the weekend, which was a record. Our previous record was $1,207. And then I thought it was going to be a little slower this week, just based on traffic and cameras and seeing what was here. But then when I saw this much money in the change machine, I was like, holy cow, we might have a really, really good week. So I was very curious to see how much money was in the actual machines, the washers and dryers. We'll check all of that out. So this happened last time it got really, really cold too. The laundromat just went crazy. It was really weird. So of course we have to fill this back up. I won't show all of that. But that's the fun of a laundromat owner, is spilling quarters everywhere all the time. And one of my biggest pet peeves has become picking up quarters, because they're just very difficult to grab and hold on to for whatever reason. And maybe I would be more careful not spilling them all over, but that hasn't happened. Something else weird was happening. So I was doing the the vending machine, and the bathroom was locked. And I looked at my cameras, I'm like, it's been locked the whole time I've been here. And then while I was doing something else, I noticed the person left. And I'm being a jerk, I guess, and just saying, hey, were you in the laundromat? And he's like, oh, I did laundry last night. I'm like, okay. And I wasn't a jerk. I was nice to him. I'm just like, we've had some weird stuff going on, just making sure. And he's just like, yeah, I just had a real rough night. And, I just needed to clean up a little bit. And so the thing is, we've had people hang out in our bathroom for hours before. A different guy was like threatening me, and we had to call the cops on him and had a lot more issues. This guy was a lot cooler than that guy. And I was looking back at my cameras, and I didn't see when he came in, so I didn't know if he was there an hour, 20 minutes, all night. And so I looked back at my cameras after I made the video, and he was only in there he's in there probably half an hour. So a decent amount, but not like all night long. And so I was trying to be cool about it and not just be a jerk. But yeah, we also had a lady who was hanging out in our bathroom a while ago, filling up water jugs and just hanging out in the laundromat all the time. And then, she said, when I confronted her one time, she's like, well, I used to do laundry here 2 years ago. I'm like, well, that's great, thank you. But one, I didn't own it then. Two, doing laundry in a laundromat one time doesn't really give you access to all of its amenities for the rest of its life. So we do like to leave our bathroom open for customers and people who are there, because I did see on the cameras someone was trying to go over there and use the bathroom, and they couldn't because that guy was in there so long. So anyway, there was a lot of money in the vending machine. We were checking those first, so that was good to see. I could tell because it was heavy. We did add some new snacks last week. Every time I add new stuff and different stuff, it just seems to help stuff sell better. And so I promised I was refilling the ruffles right there, but I didn't show it. I've got an Insta360 camera I wear, and so it shows every single angle I want to. But part of the reason it takes me so long to make these videos is that I think I dropped something in my keys. Yes. I've got to go back and edit where it looks. So I've got to point it in the right direction, and that takes some time. It takes some time to get it all saved and all that. So I don't always get it perfect. Sorry about that. We are all out of Tide on the right. So you can see those two marks right there. That's as much as we can fill it, or it stops working. And somebody told me on the last video, proof once again, I actually listen to comments and do read them. Hey, you should put your Tide in a different spot because it seems to be your best seller, and you've got it kind of in the two worst spots that don't work right. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, if I was smart, that would probably make sense, but we'll see how smart I am. Well, first off, collecting quarters, there's quite a bit in there. We had a really good week selling soap, which is not our goal, but it's still nice to have. So anyway, look at me. I'm taking out all of the dissolve, which doesn't sell very well. I'm gonna stick it on the far right and put one of our Tides over here. Yes, I know they won't be right next to each other, and they'll probably annoy the OCD people, I'm sorry. But I think that'll give us more sales. And while I was doing that, I realized we're almost out of Tide. And then it's kind of hard to get soap out of this dispenser if you have big, non-dexterous hands. So hopefully other people don't have as much problems as I do trying to get the soap out. So we filled up that side with Tide. I moved the dissolve over to the other side where it doesn't really sell as much. And then after doing that, of course, I had to change the display signs so that people know that we actually did that, because I don't want to switch them and then have people trying to buy dissolve and they get Tide and trying to buy Tide and get dissolve. Well, something crazy happened while I was doing that. You can see the blue stack right there. That's like Clorox color something or other. And I just put that in there because I think it was in there when I got the laundromat and it had a sign on already. So I'm like, okay, we'll just keep getting that. Well, the last few weeks, none of it has sold, like nothing. And I didn't show it here because, like I said, I have to go through and edit these and I'm not perfect. My sign was gone. That Clorox color right beside my left hand right there, it was totally gone. Like someone had just taken the sign off. And you kind of have to work kind of hard to do it because you got to slide this plastic out and you can't really do it when that thing is closed very well. So I don't know how they got it, but that's why nobody was buying my Clorox, because they didn't know what it was. So again, I have to move these around and make sure they're right. And you can see right here, while doing all of this, I put my dissolve in the wrong spot. So once I did get this all situated and done, and you can see I'm not getting that in the right spot either. There we go. I was real proud of myself, and then I look at it and I'm like, it's in the wrong spot. So then I came back, fixed it, and got everything in the right spot again. So, you know, I have quite a few cars. Sorry, random change of subject. And people ask me, do you work on your cars yourself? I'm like, I put a battery in my Diablo this last week. I just hate working on cars, and it's probably because this is how it usually goes with me, dropping things and not getting stuff done right and just making a mess of it. So anyway, my son helped me. He's way better at that kind of stuff. Here's our new pop machine, and this is our first time checking it after a full week, so this will be interesting to see what's in here. Now, of course, I don't know, I might have to look at my camera again. Someone ripped off my labels I put on there because it came with Diet Coke and Coke Zero, and I don't have those. And I printed out labels, like decent looking labels, and taped them up there, Dr. Pepper and Orange Crush and root beer, I think is what I had. Someone ripped them off. It wasn't just like they got knocked off, someone tore them off and ripped them off. So again, you could go through camera footage. It takes a very long time to go through camera footage when you don't have a specific date of when it happened. Like that could have been Monday, it could have been yesterday. I guess I'll have to pay attention every time I go there. But anyway, there's a decent amount of money in there, nothing crazy. But the really cool thing about this machine is it takes dollars too. My other vending machine does not. In fact, out of all the vending machines before, I've had a pop machine before this one. Again, I'm doing a bad job of showing stuff, sorry, but there's some money. The vending machine at the small laundromat, none of the dollar bill acceptors worked. So, you know, I've had like 3 or 4 vending machines, and this is the first one where the dollar bill acceptor works, so that's kind of cool and exciting. And this is me trying to figure out which labels they had taken off. So it tells you what number the slot is in, but then you have to count that label. So here we go. We are making some very fancy new labels. I might be for hire if somebody wants me to do this for them because the quality of work is so high. Maybe not. I might be too busy. But at least people will know now what is in the machine, and I don't want them, you know, thinking they're going to get a Diet Coke and then they get a root beer. And then I will keep track. If someone messes with this again, I'll have a better idea of which day it happens. Because, yeah, just going through a week is tedious. And I don't remember it being like that. I come to the laundromat Mondays for sure, usually Wednesdays, Fridays for sure. Once in a while I come on the weekend if there's something going on. My son wants some extra money and he wants to work on some stuff. Tuesdays, Thursdays, once in a while if I'm close in the area. And that's the nice thing about this laundromat is it's literally like 2 miles from my office. So I'm in the area all the time. We have houses next to this. It's easy for me to check on. The small laundromat I have that's for sale is a lot harder for me to check on. It's 20-some miles away. And again, this is me messing everything up while I try and fix this stuff. And I cut out a lot of the difficulties too. You're not seeing all of them. So, but we got those labels back on. And, it'd help if I had the right tools and not just a roll of tape without a dispenser on it too. I used to have some packing tape that was really good for this and really strong. I'm not sure what happened to it, if it disappeared or if I lost it, but I did find with, contractors and different people coming through and working on machines and helping with stuff, the stuff I like tends to disappear, like my good packing tape and some of my screwdrivers and stuff. I'm like, I know I had tools here. Now, why are they not here anymore? All right, so now people will know what they're getting. And this one shuts right too. My old pop machine wouldn't shut all the way, so it should be more efficient as well. All right, we will count up how much money we got from vending, soap, pop, soda. Sorry, I know some people say it different ways. And then we're gonna go count the washers and dryers and see what's in there. And dumping quarters again. I don't know if you saw that, but my bucket shifted. It was in the right spot, but then it shifted and dumped quarters all over the floor. Anyway, 222 quarters from, that's the soap, yeah. So that's not bad. We'll try and get this situated so it doesn't happen again. Because the last thing I need is like 5,000 quarters falling on the floor. And again, like I said, my least favorite thing to do, pick up quarters. And we do keep the laundromat clean. We have a cleaner who goes through and pretty much every day. My office is not clean. So we do not give the cleaner access to my office, at least this office, because there's money in there, other stuff, etc. They have another back room where they have all the cleaning supplies and different things. So, all right, now let's see what was in the snack machine. I call it vending machine on my chart at the end. I really need to rename that because that could mean a lot of different things. There's so many different kinds of vending machines. But yeah, this is the snack machine. And this is the heaviest I've felt it in a while. It was pretty good. And there's quite a few dimes and nickels, which sometimes we get none of them. So 224, and plus I just randomly, we'll call that $2. Maybe more, maybe less. And then here's our pop / soda. And the cash that was in the machine, I think it was $9 there. Oh, I wonder, I forgot to take that out of my count for cash. I put that in there. So when we see the chart, let's try and remember that it's $9 less than what I have on there for cash collected this week. 49. And $1 or so extra. Well, not bad. All right, now we can finally see what's in these machines. And I was being real quick because someone was in the way. Sorry, I usually try and take my time and show people the quarters, but that one, I was a little discombobulated. And I thought I broke my key. I don't know if you saw that, but I pulled out the key and the other key was in the way. It looked like it was just half shaft, and I thought I broke it off, but I didn't. That's so good. Okay, these are my 80-pound machines, and that was a decent amount, but it wasn't like a crazy high amount. There was so much cash in the change machine. When I counted that all up, it was 900, over 900 from during the week, plus 1290 over the weekend. That's some of the most cash we've ever collected, ever. So I was kind of thinking we have a lot in the machines. However, once in a while we have a crazy week where just a lot more cash comes in than quarters. Usually it's the other way around. That's not that much either. And these machines I did empty once. My big machines, my 80-pounders, the 50-pounder and back I just did. That's better. That's a little better. So these have already been emptied once, but still, I feel like in a really good week, these will be almost full up front twice. And again, that's pretty full, but it's not like record-breaking full. So I don't know if I was really hoping maybe we'd come close to a record. Ooh, that's not that much at all either. But it's not looking that way. However, there is something that I was thinking about while I was doing this, and that's I came to this laundromat first this week. So every Friday I go to my small laundromat, which is farther away, and then this laundromat. In the last few weeks, I've been going to my small laundromat first, and then coming to this one. Well, I went to this one first this week, so maybe coming first definitely reduces the income because it doesn't give people, a few more hours on Friday to use the machines. And when I got here, there was nobody here, which never happens, like never, except for the guy in the bathroom. So that was kind of weird. But as I was here, like literally like 4 or 5 groups of people showed up, and it got real busy, as you can see in the video, as you know, as dodging and avoiding people the whole time. So had I come 3 hours later, maybe I would have had quite a bit more money in the machines. Now, having said that, next week would make up for that, right? So if it was just a timing issue, when we come next week, especially if we come later in the day, then we're giving ourselves even more time and we can cheat, maybe we'd see a lot more revenue. But as I said, that's decent. I mean, this might be something crazy too. 1 bucket is my big machines, and 1 bucket is my small machines. I might have more money in my small machines this week than my big machines. I don't think that's ever happened either. So, that's a little strange.
You're good.
Oh, that's quite a bit too. And see, this is another issue. I may have been switching buckets again for which box I put the quarters in. It doesn't really matter because all the washers get counted into one big lump sum, but just for my own weird interests, I'm always curious what does better, the big machines or the small machines, and gosh, I may have messed that up. I'm not sure. If anybody wants to go back and figure out if I started mixing up the buckets, let me know. Because I've got a lot of different stuff to do and I don't have time to go back and do that today. So, okay, that's not bad. Alright, so we have quite a bit from the small machines, but not nearly as much from the big machines, is what I'm gathering. Just check these to see. Make sure we have a part for that now, but I don't know if you guys heard or not, but we do have some shakeups in our staff, some people. So I had someone who'd been learning to work on these machines and fix them and did a lot of stuff for the laundromat. Well, they won't be working with us any longer, come pretty soon. So I do have someone else that might take over, but that might mean some delays on getting all that done. So, yeah, if you're wondering why there's still broken machines, there's always some interesting stuff going on in my work world. All right, lots and lots of quarters. Let's see what we've got. I'd love to see over 6,000 quarters here. I keep saying that. The last few weeks, we've almost gotten there, but not quite. My record is like 7,000 quarters, but that was like a weird anomaly week. We've never had a week come close to that. So, like I said, I was really hoping this week might do it, but not looking like it after I saw those buckets and how much was in the machines. Lots of cash, which is nice, but just, oh God. Today was just not a good day for quarters. And it got worse at the small laundromat too. I'll post that video tomorrow. But yeah, I had even more issues at the small laundromat with quarters and issues, and yeah. The small laundromat had a record last week, over $500, which we've never done. I was really happy. That was really cool to see. And then, I won't give away all the information, but this week was not a record. It was not good. I feel like I try to be positive and excited, and I was actually pretty excited today to go to both laundromats and see how much money we had. And like, oh, maybe we'll have a really, really good week at the small laundromat again. No, that's my spoiler. We did not. And we'll talk about why and what happened and show you tomorrow, but little disappointing. All right, we'll see what we've got here. We can speed this up a little bit. All right, so the first bucket, which I thought was the big washers, I'm not really sure. Not quite 3,000. And then we'll see what our other buckets have. We throw quarters in there. I might get over 6 still. I don't know. Like, I was really hoping for a record. We're not going to get a record. But we still might have done better than last week, which is always good. And last week was decent, too. So it's not like last week was a bad week. And coming down the home stretch, I think we're definitely going to get to 6. There's 6. 6,067. Okay, so that's better than last week with the washer. So that was cool to see. All right, now let's see what we've got in the dryers. Not bad. Another issue we've been having, and I need to get fixed, it's been kind of cold in the laundromat, which I don't think is great for customers. Cause I came in and there was a lady, doing laps around the laundromat, and it doesn't have a whole lot of space to do laps because she said it was too cold. It was real cold in there, and it was a 63 or 64, which isn't freezing, but it's definitely colder than I want it to be. And we have the temperature set at 71. So we've never had an issue until it gets real cold outside. And like I said, this last weekend was negative, Fahrenheit for multiple nights. One time in the laundromat, we came in, it was 59 or 60. That was pretty cold. In the back room is where my dryers get all of their fresh air coming in. And you're supposed to have just like 4 wide open windows of air for those dryers to properly operate. I don't go by those guidelines because if I had that much wide open air, my laundromat would be like 40 degrees and the dryers stop working when they get too cold, even though people have sworn that it isn't the case. I think that's the case. So we cover up those windows for the most part when it gets really cold. And so we came in, covered them up, left some holes for fresh air still, but just when it gets super cold, we cover those up. And even with doing that, it still was getting down into the, definitely not keeping up. And the other thing is, if your heat isn't keeping up with your thermostat and where you set it, that means it's just running all the time. And if it's running all the time, that's going to mean our gas bill is going to be extremely high, and that's not good for business either. So I need to do some more insulation. I've talked about that a number of times. That's on our list of things to do. Like I said, we've got a lot of things to do with our different properties and projects going on, so it takes some time to get this stuff done. And then I've got my HVAC guys coming to look at the units as well. It's got 2 rooftop units. And yes, I rent this space. I lease this space from another landlord, which I'm fine with. And technically, they're supposed to take care of all the HVAC and everything. However, in the past, when I've asked for stuff to be done, they're kind of slow or don't know what to do. And so I've just said, hey, can I send my guys and send you a bill? And they say, yeah, do that. So that's what I do. So I did send my guys once, and they're like, well, we couldn't get to the roof because there was too much snow, and there wasn't that much snow, but anyway. So that wasn't really helpful, but now I told them again, I'm like, hey, you guys need to come out here and figure this out because, I don't want to be running my furnace nonstop all the time. So if there's something wrong with it and we can make it run better, that'd be great. Or if we need to figure something else out, let's get that figured out. So anyway, here's the dryer money. Last week we had a really good dryer week. It was like, let me see, $550, which is not 10. That's not right. Over 2,200 quarters last week. So we have more washer money this week. So naturally, I would assume we'd have more dryer money this week. However, it wasn't looking that great. I'm like, I don't think we're gonna get to 2,200. And then I was looking back at my chart, which I'll show you here in a second. Last week was a crazy high dryer week compared to washers. Kind of weird. Just, there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in laundromats, I guess. All right, here's our chart. We finally made it. This is from the beginning when I first opened December of 2023. Took this over in September of 23, just took over the lease, got all the machines, we fixed them up, we brought in some better machines. We did that again a few months ago. Now I'm pretty happy with where things are at, as long as we could get some of those machines fixed, which hopefully should be happening soon. Anyway, and our heat fixed soon. Here's what's happened, which has been good. We've seen increases and increases and increases and plateaus and increases, and It's just been some very steady numbers for the most part, unlike the small laundromat, which is like chaotic, crazy, all over the place numbers. So yeah, we got stuck along that 1800, 1700 for a long time. And I talked about that. This is when I started keeping track how much cash came in every week. Like I said, we almost always collect more quarters than cash. Once in a while we have a weird week where there's more cash, like right there. But for the most part, we collect more quarters, and every few months we drop the quarters off at the bank. There was our crazy awesome week that we haven't been back to. We had a good week there. Then we had that weird, awful week. Then decent weeks. And 2,090 was our total this week for quarters, which is more than last week by a little bit. Our dryers were down. We had less from the dryers, but more from the washers. And then cash, we had 2185 in cash. That's the most cash we've collected, except for our crazy record week in November. So I don't know why we got so much cash this week. I don't know if a quarter collector came in and decided to drop $200 on quarters and see if he could find some good stuff, but that's a little strange. So maybe someone got hundreds of quarters because they plan to do laundry this weekend and they wanted to plan ahead and make sure they had those quarters just in case the change machines don't work. And that would be our positive thinking, and this weekend's going to be even awesomer. Who knows? But that's what happened. This week will be fun for me because Brecken, my son's got 2 basketball games, and I'm helping coach him, so that's always fun. And so maybe we won't come to the laundromat this weekend. Who knows? But anyway, good week. I was hoping it'd just be a little better, like 2,200, 2,300. That's okay. I'm still happy, and we'll keep chugging away at this place. Very consistent, very even-keeled, nothing too crazy, and doesn't take a whole lot of my time, which is nice. The complete opposite is true of the other laundromat, and we'll have that video coming up tomorrow. We'll also have updates on the Aplex, some other properties I'm buying, our flips, the solar property. Hopefully something happens good with that soon. All that coming up soon, too.